So the second part of cultivating our conscience is intellectual analysis. After getting all the data, we need to weigh. We need to weigh the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? And if then we weigh and we find, wow, there is a huge difference. I hardly see any advantages, if one at all. And there are so many disadvantages. So I am analyzing, and after weighing the pros and the cons, I then come to a logical decision. I decide, look, there are hardly any advantages and there are massive disadvantages. So my decision is, I am not in favor of this proposal because there are too many disadvantages. Just as an example. That is a logical decision. Now actually that is not the final step. That is not the final culmination of one's conscience. The final culmination comes when you ask yourself the question, does this ultimately lead to the greatest welfare of all? Does this lead to universal benevolence? That is the ultimate question. You have studied, you have analyzed, and you came to a certain decision, but that is not your final decision. Your final decision comes after answering the question, does this actually really promote the greatest welfare of all? And there you can have different answers. You could, for example, say, the idea is really good. The idea promotes the greatest welfare of all, but actually at the moment it is not practical. It can't be done, it can't be implemented. So in that case, I would say, it's a good idea, but I can't fully support it right now, not ready for it. Okay, maybe later. Another proposal may come, and it is, yes, this is for the greatest welfare of all, and it is practicable. It can be done. It will solve so many problems. Health problems, economic problems, ecological problems, so many problems can be solved by this one. It is for the welfare of all, and it is very practical. I support it, 100%. Another outcome could be is that no, it is questionable whether it will actually lead to welfare. It may or may not. It cannot be decided right now. So I'm not supporting it now. In future, if it is for the welfare and if it is practicable, then let's do it. Maybe a certain technology of getting energy. There are so many new technologies, and perhaps not so new technologies that are being used. So perhaps we don't know or exactly the consequences. Maybe something having to do with genetical engineering or manipulating atoms or something. We are getting something out of it, but we are not sure. So, as we are not sure that it will really promote universal welfare for a long period of time, the answer would be, it might be good, but it's not certain, so I'm not fully supporting it now, but I'm not closing the door. So after this process, I know it is this topic might be a little bit abstract and a little bit on the intellectual side, but as I say, for our endeavor to serve the society, the knowledge of how to cultivate your conscience is precious. So after asking the question, does it ultimately lead to universal welfare? And answering then comes the next step, implementing. Yes, I fully support this. I support this 100%. Free education for all, for example, whatever it may be. I'm in favor of that. It will be good for the welfare of all. So then I could say, I support it and I give my word for it, my time, my energy. I'm ready to help implement it. I'm ready to participate in the society to do something about it. That is required. So it is not just intellectual, it's not just an intellectual decision, and it's not just an ethical conclusion. It doesn't really end there. True conscience is, when that is completed, the implementation starts. The commitment to doing something about it, implementing the stand that one has taken. Truly, in our fight for a better world, for social justice, for the welfare of all people, this conscience is one of our greatest tools. And cultivating that conscience makes us strong, not only socially, but mentally, emotionally, even spiritually it is beneficial. It is not divorced of spiritual development. That kind of intellectual, psychic development, interest in the world, is beneficial to spiritual development. It is not at all contrary to spiritual development. So that is the process of cultivating one's conscience. First of all, study. Collecting information, knowledge about the events, about the happenings. Then verifying what I'm studying. Testing its veracity. After having sufficient and accurate information, then I weigh that information. I weigh the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages. And out of that weighing comes the third step, where I make a logical decision. This is not advantageous, I'm not supporting it. Or it is really advantageous, I'm supporting it. But then the fourth and final step is vital. The question, does this course of action promote universal welfare? That means the greatest welfare of the greatest beings involved for the longest period of time. Not just today, not just tomorrow. For the 7th generation, as some Native Americans used to say. Think about the 7th generation, the welfare of the 7th generation as well. That kind of thinking, that kind of question, does it promote that kind of welfare? That is the final point of deciding. And once the decision has been reached, then one implements that decision with one's heart, with one's courage. And then you act from your conscience, from your strength. You are one